part of the fun of homeownership is having to fix things whenever they go bad. And today, I unfortunately have to fix the staircase for my deck because it rotted away. Now, it's only gonna be 3 steps, so it shouldn't be too hard, but I'm gonna take you with me while we go ahead and pull it apart, get it fixed up, and make it look pretty again. All right, so here's the bad boy that we gotta work with. We can see that this one has basically reached the end of its life. That's all messed up. And you can see that we got a couple different varieties of wood length. We got ourselves a normal decking board, we got a 2x6 and a 2x4, and we have ourselves a makeshift staircase. So we're gonna have to probably rebuild this, probably can't reuse it, but we definitely need to make sure that we get the treads fixed up. Last summer I rebuilt the pool deck, so I have a bunch of extra wood laying around that I haven't really found a purpose for. So we're gonna go ahead, refix these steps, make it look nice and pretty using our scrap wood. So this project is going to be free, but the first thing we gotta do is get all this junk up and off the deck that we currently have. All right, so it's been a few days. Got rained out on the last go around, but I've gone ahead, I've torn down most of the rotting wood. So now we just gotta get rid of the nails and then we can start the rebuild process itself. When we started, we did not expect to find all this junk underneath of the deck. As you can see, I guess whoever built this deck decided to leave all the scraps underneath of it. Kind of a bad move, but we also have a bit of a problem. We got a bunch of rotting wood right underneath of this. When I was removing some of the steps, we saw that we had a piece break over here. I may not be a carpenter, but I'm competent enough to figure out how to fix what we got going on here with this deck. But I'm gonna take you with me while we try to get everything at least back to semi-normal-ish. I think what I'm gonna end up doing is just reinforcing some of this rotting wood. I'm not 100% sure if that's the right move or not, but I've been poking at it with a screwdriver, and most of the rotting stuff's not terribly gone on the bottom. What I mean by this though is, so we see how this part's all gnarly and rotten. Like once we start poking down in here on the other side, it seems fine. So what I'm thinking we're gonna do is maybe get some wood, fasten it over here, and we can use that as a new version of this. We also have a problem down here where this all kind of fell apart as well. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put a 2x4 on the ground and then bolt into that, or fasten into that. And then I'm gonna basically take some of this scrap wood over here and join it right onto the existing piece to recreate the step for this deck. I don't know if that's the correct way of doing it, but I think that's how I'm going to approach this problem. Before we do any of that though, I've got to get the Sawzall out so we can get rid of all those sticking up nails. So we can get rid of that, have a nice flat surface. And then hopefully, once we get rocking and rolling, we can take some of the scrap wood that we have over here and put it right on over here. Obviously, as we're getting started, you want to make sure you're wearing glasses, so that way when we use the Sawzall, we don't accidentally get something in our eye. So let's go ahead and get these things cut out real quick so we can actually start this rebuild project. All right, pretty sure I got rid of all of the screws and nails that we need to worry about. So now we have a nice spot to begin with. So first thing I'm gonna try and do is I'm gonna try and get this squared away and that one squared away. And then after that, we're gonna put some reinforcing material on the back side of that. So let's go ahead and clean off all this loose debris. That way we know what's good wood and what's bad wood. Well, it seems like we got a little unlucky that underneath of our wood, when we pulled all the other stuff out, got ourselves a nice little ant hive going on up inside of here, so we'll have to let them scurry off for a bit so we don't have to worry about them getting on me. And then once they kind of clear out a bit, then we'll go ahead and get this all out, start working on that bad boy. All right, we're gonna take this scrap piece of lumber, we're gonna push it on in and see what we can work with here. We might end up having to get a little bit more creative on this. There we go. That'll probably work, right? What do you think? We just leave that there, and then we can bolt right down, or screw right down onto that. Shouldn't have any problem. It'll still work itself out. So we're gonna leave that bad boy there. I think that's good. Any of you structural engineers in the chat, leave me alone. It is what it is. All right, so let's go ahead, get this one set up. So this piece right here was the original, and that's what she looked like. So what I think we can do is if we take this piece right on over here, stick that on in, we can figure out what we need as far as sizing goes, and we can adjust accordingly. Or what if we get even more creative here and we just go ahead and sandwich these bad boys back together, save ourselves some time, not even have to worry about doing any kind of drilling or cutting or sawing or anything to that effect. What do you think? I think that's what we're going to go ahead and do. So let's grab the drill real quick. All right, we're gonna be using some 3-inch deck mate fasteners. So now I gotta figure out which of these bits fits on this guy the best. That one feels pretty good. That was a pretty good guess on the first go. Let's see, you're loose, too big. Yep, this one will work. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take this bad boy. We're gonna take this little piece of scrap, prop up everything. We'll get everything nice and even and flush on this side. So there we go. All right, so we got that bad boy squared away. So let's go ahead and drive on in. Okay, so that's in place, that's good to go. We'll get a couple more on that in a second. But what I want to do is I want to get that other piece, this one, screwed on as well. So we'll grab another fastener, take this bad boy, stick it back on. I'm going to come the other direction so we don't lose it. Beautiful. Now we got ourselves a nice rebuilt deck tread. We're going to send a few more of these fasteners home, make sure nothing moves. Alright, that's good. Now we're going to do one on the bottom and one on the top to really make sure nothing goes away from us. Now that ain't going anywhere, but you see we got a nail that we got to get rid of as well. So let's go ahead and cut that bad boy off. Beautiful. Nail is gone. We're almost done with the tread rebuild. What I want to do is I want to take 3 more of these fasteners and send it on the other side back here to make sure nothing moves on that side. feels pretty good and secure. All right, so remember, this side is super, super rotten. Like, we see that it's just kind of falling apart, but whoever built this deck was kind enough to leave us some junk on the ground. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this junk and we're gonna put it right up on the wall, just like this, to give ourselves a little bit more to work with when it comes down to actually securing this system. So we gotta get some fasteners. We gotta figure out where I put my drill. There it is. All right, so now we got this. Let's go ahead. We'll pre-sink a few of these just to make our lives a little bit easier on the back end. This wood's kind of gross, but we are making do with what we've got, and we're learning together, because I think the rest of this is okay, and I don't really feel like replacing the whole deck. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take this bad boy. I'm gonna put it down a bit. Make it as even as we can get it. We're gonna take our driver and send it home. All right, so earlier we had to give up on this project for the day because the temperature outside was too hot, I guess, for the phone, and it kept shutting off because of the temperature. So we've now moved on to day 3. It is the morning, bright and early. It's actually only like 65 degrees, so hopefully the phone doesn't overheat and we can actually get this project finished. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna continue with basically making sure everything's got somewhere where we can fasten down the new boards, and then we're gonna get the saw and we're gonna slice up some pieces of wood, get these treads back on, and hopefully be done in the next 20 minutes. This is the original railing. I think I'm probably gonna keep this and just use it again. I'm not entirely in the mood to redo an entire railing system. So we're just gonna have to cut some of the screws and nails that were left over from when we took it off, and then we should be able to just get it stuck right back on here. But let's go ahead, get this stuff put away, and then we're gonna go ahead, grab our drill and get started on putting some decking material up. All right, we got one deck tread done. This one over here in the front part definitely was a little bit more squishy than I had originally thought, but it's still on there, it ain't moving. And all we really need this to be is just something where we can actually walk on it without falling through, because as you can see, the rest of the deck is kind of gross and disgusting too. So we've got 1 out of 3 done. It's time to get the middle step, and hopefully this one goes a little bit faster, because now we're moving and we don't have to worry about as much rotting wood. Yeah, we'll see. All right, so I've noticed a little bit of a problem that I think I have a solution for. Again, I'm not a deck builder, so we're doing this on my own steps, so I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, so, you know, don't flame me too hard in the comments. So, I don't feel like ripping down a board because then I get the table saw out. That's a lot of effort, so I think I have one of these scrap balusters, and I have a bunch of extra decking. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with the bottom treads first, put this in the corner, and then we'll do the 2x6 on top of it, and that'll make these flush to this, and then we can just do the 2x6s over to there. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and grab some deck board, fill this part in, and then we'll work our way backwards. So we've run into a little bit of a pickle with this spot right here. I don't really have enough 2x6s to finish that off all the way, so I think what we're gonna have to do is get creative with this little bit of 2x4 just to fill in that hole, because I don't really care how this looks. I just want it to be functional to where you can step on it, but I can't just have that giant gap sitting out like that. So we're gonna get creative, see if we can plug that hole, and we'll go from there in a few seconds. So this should be what I need to cut right here. So we're gonna see if we can get that block to come out of here, and hopefully we can fill in that hole. Close enough. It's in there close enough. I recognize that this doesn't look that pretty. I'm not a carpenter, but I also don't really feel like spending a whole lot of money fixing up this deck the right way. So what we're gonna do is do what we can with what we have and make it usable. It's all about practicality. Nobody really cares what your steps look like. As we can see, these gnarly little fellas are all in there nice and good. Even our ugly little duckling over there. But I mean, you can see the rest of the deck's rotting. I need to eventually replace the whole thing, but this will work for now. Now, the next step is we need to get the railing up. Again, we're gonna take this one, clean off those bits of nails, and we're gonna stick it back up on the deck that it was already coming from. The main purpose of this project is to make my steps usable again, but also to show you that you don't need to spend a whole bunch of money. It's okay to be cheap from every now and again, and nobody really cares. I know that there's gonna be a few of you that are gonna leave some comments down below saying, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing, or it looks ugly. I don't care, right? And I think once you get to that stage, you're gonna have a much easier time navigating through life. So let's go ahead and get these nails taken off real quick so we can get that railing put back up. now that we got all those off, we just got to right it up, put it on the steps, and then screw it on in, get everything back to where we found it. So I'm going to push this up real quick, and then we'll go from there. Helps when I put a battery in it. It may not be the best, but I think we're done for now. We got ourselves our railing, which it wobbles a little bit, but I do need to go back down and put more support on that point at some point. I got to figure out how I want to do that. I might end up digging on this side to run another beam up top. But so far, she's held in. It's not going anywhere. Our steps are walkable again. They're no longer falling apart with nails sticking out. So now all I gotta do is just clean up the brush, and then we're good to go until it's time to replace this whole deck. I hope you enjoyed watching me fumble my way through this. I always have fun doing projects. This is just something that I needed to get done, figured to take you along with me, and we can learn together the process of building a deck. I by no means am a carpenter. My profession is with wells and septic systems, but part of the channel is I want to show you things that you can do yourself or easy ways to save some money. As you saw, we've got a bad deck. We also had rotting steps, but I had a bunch of scrap lumber left over. We may as well just use what we have just to make this a temporary fix until eventually we get around to replacing the entire deck. That's probably not going to happen for a little while, but at least this gives us something to work with for the time being, so that we don't just have a bunch of nails sticking us in the feet. If you enjoy this kind of content, or if you enjoy any of my other content, I have videos posted every day. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.